5. In the title it says hints for 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's about 2 o'clock on Saturday and I got to get out of here. I'm at school right now. I'm having a lot of fun making these videos. I hope you're having fun watching them. However, I'm going to finish 6, 7, and 8 on Sunday. Not really sure when, but probably by 5 p.m. If you are working on the homework and you're trying to get it finished, 6, 7, and 8 were all based on Friday's classwork. The speed dating that we did in class, each question I wrote is based on questions from speed dating. So if you have the handout from Friday and you want to finish 6, 7, and 8, see if you can't use the speed dating homework. I will go back and make videos for those when I get the chance. But I got to stop at number 5 today, and I'll put up the rest of them this weekend. All right, but before I go, let's do number 5. Okay. So first thing I should point out is if you're in first period, your homework has a typo. You have an 18 right here instead of a 17. Cross it out, make it a 17. The problem is still completely doable with 17. It's still with 18. It's still mathematically fine. It requires the same solution procedure. It's not a big deal. I just kind of like the answer better if you use 17. The answer is a little bit easier to get to. Let's go ahead and get started. We know that the sum of two numbers is 14. So we do not know what these mystery numbers are. We have mystery number 1 plus mystery number 2. You add them, you get 17. A much better way of saying mystery number 1 plus mystery number 2 is to just simply say x plus y equals 17. All right. X is a nice way of saying the unknown number. Y is a nice way of saying another unknown number. That's why we use x and y. They represent unknowns or variables. So if we add these two, we should get 14. Then we look at the second sentence. We got 3 times the first minus 2 times the second is, sorry, I'm not redoing the video. I'm not redoing the video. It's not happening. But I goofed on the very first part. X plus y is 14. The sum of two numbers is 14. 3 times the first minus 2 times the second is 17. Okay. All right, so we're good to go on this. So what we have here is 2 equations. There are a bunch of ways that we can solve this now. You have 2 unknowns, x and y, and you have 2 equations. This forms what's called a system of equations. There's a bunch of ways to solve a system. Let's talk about how to use the graphing calculator first, because if you have access to a graphing calculator, there's nothing wrong with the following method. What we're going to do is take equation number 1, and we're going to solve it for y. What that means by solving for y is gets x by itself. So instead of x plus y equals 14, we could say y equals 14 minus x. If x is positive on one side, we can move to the other side with subtraction. And then we're going to do the same thing for this equation. We're going to rewrite it so that we can isolate y. The first thing we're going to move is that 3x. So if we take this equation, it's negative 2y equals 17 minus 3x. And then the other thing we're going to do is get rid of this negative 2 with division. And when you divide on both sides of an equation, it's important you divide everything. So it's not just 17 divided by negative 2. It's not just negative 3 divided by negative 2. It's everything divided by negative 2. So let's just recap. We wrote out x plus y equals 14. We wrote out 3 times x minus 2 times y equals 17. We took each equation and solved them for y. So this is the first equation after we rearranged it a little bit. And then this is the second equation after we rearranged it a little bit. It's important to know that's a minus symbol right there. Okay. if we have a graphing calculator, what we can do is just graph these two functions. Two functions are equal. You can solve a system by figuring out where functions are equal. Functions being equal is the same as their graphs overlapping. So let's graph y equals 14 minus x. And let's graph y equals 17. Oh, I need some parentheses. If you have multiple terms in the numerator, you want to use some parentheses. So 17 minus 3x divided by, and then in parentheses, negative 2. If we hit graph, let's see. We got one line. We got the other line. So, hey, look, the intersection's there a little bit. Let's add a little bit more space to this side. So we're going to add on to our x maximum a little bit. To balance that out, we're going to take away a little from our y minimum, so let's make our x minimum. Let's see if that doesn't shift our picture so we get a good look. Come on, come on. All right, there you are. Okay. So where these two lines cross, this x and this y, it's going to tell us these two numbers. So to figure out where two lines intersect, we can use a feature on our graphing calculator known as the intersect feature. So we go down to number 5. First curve just means select the first line. So it's on one of the lines, we hit enter. Second curve means select the second line, so we hit enter. And then guess just means get it close. And honestly, if you only have two straight lines, you don't have to do this. You can just hit enter, enter, enter. But we hit enter, and we get, hey look, 9 and 15. Let's see if this makes sense. What's 9 plus, I'm sorry, 5. 9 and 5. What's 9 plus 5? 14. Good. What is 3 times 9 minus 2 times 5? Well, 3 times 9 is 28. 28 minus 10 is 18. This is the problem with the home. This is why first period has a typo. For some reason in my mind, I keep thinking that 3 times 9 is 28. And it just isn't. And I've known since I was 8 years old that it's 27. And I'm not quite sure why I can't get it right this week. But let's go back. So 9 plus 5 is 14. And then 3 times 9 minus 2 times 5 is 27 minus 10 is 17. So that's why I kind of wanted 17 in the setup. Okay, we got a mess going here. We're going to undo a bunch of stuff. But what we've done here is we've solved by writing an equation for each one of them. And in each equation, isolating y so that we can enter the rest of it into our graphing calculator. Oop, whole thing. And then once we do that, we just look for where those two lines overlap. Okay. We're going to erase a bunch of stuff, go back and look at some other ways to solve this. And now we're not going to use a graphing calculator at all. We're going to go back and write our two equations. So we know that x plus y equals 14. And we know that 3 times x minus 2 times y equals 17. So what I've actually done is I've written these in a specific way so the x's are right on top of each other, the y values are right on top of each other, the equation is right on top of each other, and then 14 and 17 are right on top of each other, so that we can use the method known as elimination. So we're going to do this by hand with elimination. Elimination means that when you add the x's, add the y's, and add the regular numbers, you want to eliminate one of these two. And in order to do that, they need to be balanced. So look, if we add y and negative 2y, they will not eliminate. But if we add 2y to negative 2y, they're going to eliminate. In order to change this to a 2, or to multiply by 2, it's perfectly legal as long as we multiply x by 2, and as long as we multiply 14 by 2, and 14 times 2 is 28. So all we did, we wanted to make this a 2, or we wanted to double this term. All we have to do is double the entire row of the equation. Now when we add these two, they're going to wipe each other out. 2y minus 2y is 0. 2x plus 3x is 5x. 28 plus 17 is, don't tell me, 45. Divide by 5, and we get x equals 9. We get that answer we got with the calculator. Come on, pen. Come on, pen. Now that we know that x is 5, we can go back and plug it into any of our equations. Like remember x plus y equals 14? When we plug in 5, we can say 5 plus what equals 14? And that's a pretty common sense question. Y equals 9. So we got that 5, 9 combination right there. The other thing we could do is guess. And check. Which is perfectly okay to do on an EOC or an MSL. If you can guess and check and get the right number, that's fine. But you can, in theory, write an equation for this sentence. You can write an equation for that sentence. You can graph them to see where they crisscross. Or you can set them up and do elimination and work for it by hand. And there's some other ways to do these as well. All right, like I said, I'll have the rest of the videos uploaded tomorrow. 1 through 5 should be on the website. I hope they help. Make sure you get the homework done. Also have a good Memorial Day weekend. Go Broncos.